All right, today we are diving into something really fascinating. It's a recent scientific paper that completely rewrites the origin story for a very stubborn type of breast cancer. And honestly, it reads like a detective story at the cellular level. And it all kicks off with a case of mistaken identity. So let's get into it. So let's just start with a really big question. What if a cancer's name is just wrong? What if the very label that doctors and scientists have been using for decades is fundamentally misleading? It sounds so simple, but as we're about to see, this new research suggests that one little error could be hindering treatments and, frankly, costing lives. So this whole mystery, it really starts with a specific subtype of breast cancer called diffusely infiltrating lobular carcinoma. And for years, it's been a huge puzzle for doctors. It's notoriously hard to see on mammograms and has this terrible reputation for being aggressive and really resistant to the standard treatments. Okay, so 5 to 8%. You might hear that and think, well, that's not a huge number compared to other cancers. But here's the thing, and this is absolutely crucial. This subtype is responsible for a hugely disproportionate number of breast cancer deaths. It might be a smaller group, but it is one of the deadliest. So, what if the key to fighting this thing this whole time has been hidden right there in plain sight, right in its name? The researchers behind this paper did something pretty bold. They started by questioning the one thing that everyone else just took for granted, its origin. I mean, the name lobular carcinoma literally tells you where it's supposed to come from, right? The lobules. Those are the tiny glands in the breast that produce milk. For decades, that's been the accepted wisdom. That's been the starting point for every diagnosis, every treatment plan. But what if that's just not true? Okay, now this slide, this is the smoking gun, visually speaking. It's an image straight from the paper. See the light-colored areas? Those are healthy breast lobules. But look at those dark purple cells. That's the cancer. And the key thing here is they are not growing from the lobules, they're actually surrounding them, attacking from the outside in. This was the first major clue that this cancer's whole identity might be wrong. So right away, this one image just blows up the old theory, and it forces you to ask a really critical question. If the cancer isn't starting in the lobules, like the name says, then where on earth is it coming from? This question is what sent the researchers on a hunt for a completely new culprit. And this is where things get really interesting. The researchers proposed a pretty radical new idea. What if this cancer doesn't come from a normal cell at all? What if it comes from a strange, dangerous type of cell that combines two different identities, a hybrid cell? Now, this groundbreaking work comes from Professor Laszlo Tabar and his international research team. They published this in the International Journal of Molecular Sciences. And to really get what they're proposing, we just need a super quick biology lesson. Don't worry, it's pretty straightforward. Okay, so first, think of a type of cell called an epithelial cell. You can basically imagine them as the bricks of your body. They're orderly, they're structured, they stay put, and they form the linings of things, like the walls of the breast ducts and lobules. They're the structure. All right, then you've got mesenchymal cells. If epithelial cells are the bricks, you can think of these as the body's construction workers. They're mobile, they're flexible, they can move around, and they make up all the connective tissue that holds everything together. They're not supposed to be part of the wall itself. So what happens if you get a cell that's, well, both? A hybrid that's part stationary brick and part mobile construction worker. That is the new suspect, this epithelial mesenchymal hybrid cell. It's like a rogue agent that has the structure to be part of the wall, but also the dangerous mobility to break out and invade other tissues. Okay, a hybrid cell sounds like a great theory, but you need proof, right? A wild idea is one thing, but Tabar's team knew they had to back it up. So they took this investigation into the lab and basically treated it like a crime scene to hunt for evidence of these elusive hybrid cells. So first thing they did, they isolated cells directly from these tumors and just grew them in a petri dish. And you gotta see what happened. All by themselves, with no outside help, the cells started forming these new little microtumors. This proved they had what's called tumor-initiating potential, a huge hallmark of a true cancer cell. All right, so we know they're cancerous. They can start tumors. But the big question remained, are they actually these weird hybrid cells? To figure that out, the scientists had to run some identity tests, kind of like cellular fingerprinting, to reveal their true nature. And bam! This is the moment of discovery right here. These images show the results. Think of it like a cellular ID check. The green glow, that's highlighting a protein you only find in epithelial cells, our bricks. But here's the kicker. The red glow on the very same cells is lighting up proteins you only find in mesenchymal cells, the workers. It's conclusive. They have a dual identity. They are, without a doubt, these epithelial mesenchymal hybrid cells. Okay, this is amazing science, for sure. But what does it actually mean for patients? Why does it matter so much where a cancer starts? Well, the answer could literally change everything about how we fight this disease. Here's the problem. Pretty much all of our current treatments, chemo, targeted therapies, they've all been designed assuming this cancer comes from regular old epithelial cells. We've been aiming all our weapons at the bricks. But if the real enemy is this superpowered hybrid, we might be using the wrong ammunition entirely. So getting this origin story right is absolutely critical. It helps us understand why current treatments might not be working as well as they should, and it opens up a whole new world for developing new drugs that can target the unique weaknesses of these hybrid cells. Even just giving the cancer a new, accurate name could completely change how doctors diagnose and treat it, and ultimately, that could save lives. You know, the researchers themselves said it best in their paper. They wrote, and I'm quoting here, "This belief may prevent patients from receiving appropriately targeted therapy." It's just so clear and urgent. This isn't just some academic debate. It's having real-world consequences for people right now. And that really leaves us with a pretty profound thought, doesn't it? The path to a cure doesn't always start with a fancy new drug in a lab. Sometimes it starts with having the courage to question something as simple as a name we've used for almost 80 years. So could getting the identity right be the first real step to finally defeating this deadly cancer?